what'd you see when you saw in real time when you saw Sidney Crosby go into the boards last game, Game 6 in the first period?
Well, I think like any spectator or fan watching the game, you cringe a little bit. I mean, we've seen guys go into the boards in such weird positions. We saw Eric Stahl do it in Minnesota earlier in the playoffs. We saw Fiala do it and break his femur a few weeks back. And then it doesn't matter whether it's the best player in the game in Sidney Crosby or a fourth line guy. You don't want to see someone get hurt, but that was, especially with his concussion situations and just getting hit the other day. I cringed hoping he was okay, and he got up pretty quickly, which made me feel pretty good. But you just never like to see people in that situation.
Okay, but whose responsibility is it to make sure that just to check him out as a precautionary measure? I know how important the game is, but this is a guy who's missed, 100 games due to concussions in his career, just coming off a concussion. The only surprising element was, in between periods, did they check him for concussion?
I'm sure they did, and I don't know how thoroughly a job that they did, because I mean, obviously he didn't miss any time, and he was pretty much on the bench, the entire game. And I'm a firm believer in the players have to really honestly have a discussion with the medical staff on how he really feels. I was the worst, Dan, at it. I would play through anything. I would not tell people how I felt. I didn't want to miss hockey games, and probably that was the sign of the times back then. But nowadays, you almost have to protect players from themselves because they are the grinders, they're competitors, and they don't want to be looked at as weak or being soft. And they want to be part of a win, or they want to be part of the team, and that's hard to drag yourself away from. And it is. I think nowadays it is up to the league to make sure that they step in and do what's right for the player, because a lot of times the player will not do right by himself. I was for sure one of those guys.
But that's what I wondered, though, JR, is it the league's job or is it the team's job? Because that's your investment. That's Sidney Crosby there. He's yours. You can put your hands on him right away to find out where he stands on this, or do you need Big Brother watching that game? Yeah. And by the way, can the league then send a message to the officials in the game and say, we want him checked? Do they have the power to do that?
It is the league, and the league has the power to do whatever they deem fit. But you put it in the powers of the team also. The team has a bias towards their best player also. I think you have to take the bias out of an injury. I think a team would be just as inclined to say, he's okay. He's really important for our team. We can't afford to have him out, so on and so forth. You don't like to think that would slip into somebody's mind, but I don't think you want to put that option in there.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.